Welcome to the Hollywood Heroine podcast. All things pop culture, gossip, Kardashians, Real Housewives, reality TV. It's an addiction and we want to talk about it all. New episodes every Wednesday and follow us on our Instagram account at the Hollywood Heroine with an E at the end. I want to hear what you guys have to say about the crazy pop culture world we are obsessed with.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready to get into Jersey?
Yeah.
We have like a British accent, but we're doing Jersey. We are back, guys. A new episode of Ronjay. We are continuing the frat party a little bit, and then we'll recap into Jersey Shore. The Jersey Shore. Okay, so continuation of the frat party. Obviously, like the last time we saw the girls, they were getting into this fist fight, and like Dolores is gonna like knock someone out, and like it looks crazy. Nothing really happened. Nobody got fists in their faces. Nothing. Frank ends up coming over, and they're like, yo, something's happening. Like Dolores, he's like, are you good? Like, is everything good? She's like, I'm good. Like, it's fine. And she even admits, she's like, I'm feeling very emotional and like very like distraught. I guess because of the whole David situation. What kind of ends up happening, like coming out of that conversation, Jennifer and Marge, like I guess Dolores like steps away, Jackie steps away. They're like, okay, like go like F off, like whatever. And then Jennifer and Marge have a really nice conversation actually.
Yeah.
And Marge is like, look, like I was calling you a hypocrite because you were calling me a slut for what your husband did. And you're like praising your husband right now. Yeah. And when she broke it down like that, I completely understood what she meant when she was calling Jen a hypocrite. Because before that, remember, we were both kind of like, why? Like, it's not like Jen cheated on Bill. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
And like the way Marge said it, I was like, okay, like I kind of understand. And then Jen even admits, she's like, I guess I was triggered by how Marge was talking about her affair. Like it triggered me because like clearly she knew about the whole Bill thing. And like, just like looking back now on that episode where that does happen, I think it was last season, right? When she calls Marge like a hoe and everything. I'm like, we should have known then that Bill was cheating. It was red flags everywhere. Like you wouldn't get that heated if like it struck a nerve. Right?
He just seemed so sweet, so amazing that like, I don't know, it didn't cross my mind. It's like a Maurizio and Kyle situation.
I didn't want to believe it. Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't want to believe it's like, you know what I mean? Like if you say like, no, you know, so I wouldn't, that didn't even cross my mind, but it totally makes sense now.
Like if Maurizio was like if they had photos of Mauricio cheating, I still wouldn't believe it.
No, I wouldn't either. Like that's Photoshop. Sorry.
What were you going to say?
Like her point was that, you know, she was triggered because she was like, what if his, you know, whoever was sleeping with him is going around bragging like it's a big deal and like, oh, it was an exciting thing that I did, you know, the way that Marge was. And she just felt so hurt imagining somebody else sleeping with her husband, potentially breaking up their family and going around like bragging about. So I understood that.
100%. I think both women have made great points, and like it's nice to see that now they can sort of get past that and like agree on it. And then even Jen was like, because Marge was like, you always like hype him up. Like you always like, I have the best life. I have the best husband. And Jen's like, and like, I have to give it to Jen for being very honest about everything. She's never like, yes, she puts on this front, but she like admits to the front too. And she says it in this moment. She's like, of course I have to gas him up. She's like, I want to make him feel like special and like the best husband ever. So like, he doesn't go off and like fucking fuck around again. And Marge, it broke my heart. And Marge is like, are you crazy? She's like, it's not your fault. Like you should never have to do that to not make him cheat. Like it's not your fault. It was never your fault. And like all of a sudden you have these two women who have gone through the same experience, and like Marge feels for her, I think in a way that she probably never thought she could feel for Jen. And it was just like a really nice moment to see.
It was a very real moment. She was being very vulnerable, Jen was. And I hope that they come out of it understanding each other a little bit better.
100%. And so, so we kind of get like a understanding about like what happens with Jen and Marge. And then it cuts to like Melissa, and she's like, are we going to the shore or what? Like, let's go. She just like wants to party.
She's like, okay, are we okay? So like, are you guys all coming to the shore? I was like, all right. Next story. We're done with this.
So, and then it kind of like it leaves like the frat party. Oh, and there is an important scene after Teresa's barbecue. When they're leaving, they're like, we just feel so bad for Jen. Like, and Bill. And then Jackie's like, I don't give a shit about Bill. He shouldn't have stuck his dick into like a woman's like whatever.
You know what? Dolores said it this time, and I didn't remember hearing it.
I remember hearing it.
Maybe it was after Teresa's party.
I remember distinctly hearing it. And I remember being like, oh, that's pretty like a ratchet comment. Like, just don't say anything anymore. Like, now
Yeah.
you're friends with Bill too, so like don't like throw him under. I get it what you mean, but like I remember her hearing that from her, and I was like, oh god. Anyways, guys listening, don't forget that, because it's gonna come back in a couple of minutes.
Because I did.
Yeah. So we get a couple of like in between scenes. Jen has a call with Teresa when it's like choppy and like nothing came of it, because Teresa's still in Boston, I think.
It's Adriana's like dance competition.
Yeah. Jackie has a consult with a therapist, because last week we saw her with Evan saying like, I want to go to therapy. So she does go to therapy. And at first I was like why is she showing this? Like, is she using this storyline as like her main narrative? But then I was like, it's okay if she is, because maybe she's helping someone. Like, if this is what it is, like, it's totally fine. Like it was just me thinking in my head. And then it was funny because like she's talking about like her things, and like the therapist like is just like typing away. She's like, so do you take notes? Yes, I do. She's like, I'm like, way to like make her feel like garbage. Like, you're like taking everything notes down. But it was an important scene to show. And I do love Jackie. I do.
I think it was very nice that she did. I think she was being very real. I think she was kind of nervous when she was answering the questions, especially because it resulted in them like I don't know if she was a doctor or whatever she was, a therapist, you know, pointing out that there may actually already have been damage to her body and her organs, and like it's not a joke.
Yeah.
So I'm glad she put it out there and that she exposed that.
Yeah, for sure. And we leave that, and then we go to the Catania dinner, which is like one of the best scenes of the episode. So they all like meet separately at this restaurant. Frank, baby Frank, Dolores, and
Gabby.
Oh my God, I blanked out again. I was like, I have it in my notes.
I like made sure to like remember her name this time.
It's so cute how like Dolores is like, doctor. She always like calls her out like Dr. Gab.
Yeah.
So whatever. They're sitting down, and like before I watched the episode, all of these like Bravo accounts were going off about little Frankie. I'm like, what happened in this episode that like they're going off on little Frankie? Like, what? He said something about this like ball gag. So anyway, so in the scene, which was so effing awkward, so like they're like basically before like their dad comes, they're like, we don't want like dad to like bring like hoes over to the house, like it's so awkward, like all this stuff, whatever. And Dolores is like, yeah, like don't let him do that, like just tell him how you feel. So he comes before the man can even like sit properly. They're like, dad, don't bring bitches over.
They're like, no hoes at the house. He's like, what?
It's like, I just sat down. And then they all kind of get like really candid, and then like Gabby's like, dad, like you could hear everything like through the walls, like you don't do that. And he's like, well, I give my girlfriend good sex, and he's like, too bad you don't have that or whatever.
He's like maybe you're not being pleasured enough.
And then little Frankie's like, oh god, like, and they're all like, this is the weirdest conversation to have with your parents. Dolores is like, Frank, I don't talk like that with them. Like, don't be saying these things, whatever. And then I guess he points at Frankie in that moment. He's like, well, he's like, that kid had a ball gag in his room. And Dolores is like, no, it was a joke. It was a joke, whatever. But the internet took that like 10-second thing, and the memes that came out of it,
I haven't seen them. Oh my gosh.
They basically were like, when we find out that Frankie has a ball gag in his room, and it was the one with Kenya when what was his name? Bolo?
Yeah.
The stripper, when he came over. Yeah. And she's like on the floor with her like outfit, her leather outfit. She's like rolling around because it's like
I highly doubt that he actually uses it. He's such a sweet, innocent guy.
Yeah, he seems like very innocent. Like, I'm sure he gets girls, but like he just seems very polite and like innocent. Anyways, it was just a funny conversation.
I didn't know it went crazy like that.
It went crazy. Like, I'm gonna send you some of the memes after this. And then basically the conversation turns to Dolores brings up David, and she's like, look, she never like gets to the point. Like, she's like, we haven't spoken. And Frank's like, bro, like just get to the point.
Just
like tell them what it is. And she's like, okay, we broke up. Like, we're done, basically. And Gabby was like pretty shook. They were both pretty shook. Like, even little Frank was like, oh my God, like why? And she just says like, we just grew apart, whatever. And she does make an interesting point, because she's like, my kids loved David and David loved my kids. She's like, sometimes it's like he was more interested in my kids than even to me.
Like, he made more effort to spend time with them.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you, like, what did you think about that whole dynamic? Because like for me, I'm like, if the man's interested in her kids and invested in her kids, like why wouldn't he be invested in her?
I really, this whole situation stumps me so much, because every time they showed him, he seemed like a legit, nice, sweet guy. He was getting along with Frank. Like, I genuinely don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
He just wanted, like, if you want that like freedom and he wasn't down to commit, then why are you getting close to the kids? So you obviously do have a place in your heart to be able to like be in a family and have some commitment, but it was just not to her. I really don't get it. I really don't.
I don't get it. And
I just remember how like he was so angry after she got a bunch of like cosmetic surgery done.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah.
And maybe that just maybe he saw her in a different light after that, because he is like an emergency surgeon. I think he does, but I feel like he does some emergency
for sure. He probably
too.
sees that. Yeah.
He like, so like, what's the need in like putting yourself into that risk for no reason? And she did pretty extensive stuff. I think
she did.
So maybe
that
after
were not
that he was just like pissed. I don't know what it is. It stumps me because I really liked him.
I agree with everything that you're saying. I really liked him. I love that he was so close to the kids. He like let Frank live in his house for all those months. Like he built her a house. I honestly do feel like that surgery thing had a really big impact on him, because I feel like sometimes like I can see his perspective. Like he's like, I provided you with this house. I bought you this house. I love your kids. I even like took your husband in and took care of him. It's like all these things still isn't enough for you. You still have to go do surgery and like do all these things on your body and like your physical appearance, when that doesn't really matter, because he's probably like, I already love you the way you are. Like I'm already attracted to you. So maybe for him, he kind of got spooked because he was like, is this woman ever going to be satisfied? She's always going to be chasing this thing. That's the only thing that I can really chalk it up to at this point. Because you're right, like he did seem like such a nice guy, and like they did seem to get along. I thought it was weird that like sometimes he just wouldn't put in the effort, like he wouldn't come around, but maybe that was because he didn't want to be on camera. Like who knows? Like there's that part of it too. But there are rumors right now that apparently he's dating Louis' ex-wife or ex-girlfriend.
I saw that.
Yeah. So
I saw that. So let's see if that becomes serious or not, and then you know who was the issue.
Yeah, like if he's that's very true. So I don't know. There's still rumors. We don't know, but clearly like he was okay to get into another relationship. So like he's not just working. He is still dating and like,
they made it seem like he just like lives to work.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like he did other, I don't know. Anyways, that whole situation really stumps me.
Yeah. So now we're going to get to the Shore house. So we're at Melissa and Joe's Shore house, which I think now they sold it. They don't own it anymore.
I think so. Yeah.
So maybe this is like one of the last times that we're going to be seeing the Shore house, but before everyone arrives. So the first person to arrive is Tracy. Okay. You know what, Tracy? You're like, she was there. You know what, Tracy?
I genuinely don't remember her there.
You know what, Tracy, you're gonna get a big part of this podcast because I want to talk to you about this.
Okay.
So this whole time we've been like, where is Tracy? Like, who is she? Like, she's so quiet. Like, is she meant to be on reality TV? She every chance she gets, she talks about how her and Tiki met in very like honest circumstances and like they didn't have an affair and all these things. And that's fine. We're just kind of going on with it and seeing like what else we're going to learn about her. But literally, it's not just us. Like I'm reading all these posts and everyone's like, bro, we get it. Like you met him like after he left like we get that. That's your story.
Yeah.
You're going to stick to that. Cool. So this week, there's a bunch of stories out there. People are writing about how it's basically all bullshit. Like she definitely knew Tiki way before he even announced his separation. He was sneaking around with her. Someone said that apparently, I read it somewhere, that she got him. So she did meet him like at work, like she was an intern. She got him to come to her college and like do some sort of speech. And like people saw him leaving her like dorm room in like his boxers or some shit. Like he was probably fucking her on the side or whatever. So, and look, here's the thing. I don't want to slut shame. That's not why I'm here. Anyone can do whatever the fuck they want to do. That's fine. Even if you're a homewrecker, be a homewrecker. Totally fine. Maybe he had issues with his wife and he wasn't happy. And those are your own issues, but don't be coming on here and constantly saying a lie. Like if you're like, we met 8.5 months after he separated. Like, no, maybe you're lying. We don't know for sure. But that's the part I have a hard time with. If you're going to be honest and just say, yo, we fucked, like we had a connection. He wasn't happy and we just had this crazy connection. So we got together and look at our life now. We're happier. I would respect you so much more than in like covering up and pretending like you did nothing wrong. Thought.
They haven't learned what reality TV is yet. And a lot of people, the new ones that come on, they think they can come on and show this front and nobody's gonna figure it out, and they don't know like the power of like reality TV and the way that people goes investigate. It's gonna come out. If you're gonna go on a reality show, just know it's gonna come out. So just be honest. I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Just be honest.
Yeah, like
especially if it's in the past, unless they've lied to their actual family and like their intimate, like, you know, family and friends. And so they're just keeping up the lie that they've been saying all this time. Well, then it is what it is. But things are like that are going to come out.
Yeah, it was just an interesting thing to read, and to read all of these, like they're like, oh, I was her classmate, or like she was in my class for this. Like she's like, it was very like obvious. Multiple people being like, it was very obvious that like she was seeing him. You know, again, we don't know when his marriage failed, but like he clearly got his wife pregnant because she was pregnant when he left her. So like he was still with his wife in a sense. Anyway. Yeah. My point is always just be honest, just be real. If that's what happened in your life, like clearly you guys are happy now, you know, you have your own family, it's okay, but just say it. Like you were a kid.
Again, it's like years ago.
Yeah. You know, just say that was the truth, but you're like afraid of that and you don't want to own up to it. So that's the part I don't respect. Having said that, again, she was very important in this episode.
That's why when you said she came first, I was like, did she?
Yeah. I was like, she's not impressing me like at all, really.
Like honestly, she's not leaving a mark, so we'll see.
Yeah,
but we're like 4 episodes in now.
Yeah. Okay, so then we get people arriving at the shore house, and then also Jen rented her own shore house.
Yeah.
So Teresa arrives at that one because like apparently Teresa also has her own shore house, but all the kids are there with like their friends, so they weren't going to film there, and she didn't want to stay there that night, so she was coming over to Jen's to stay the night. And then everyone gets to the Gorgas, whatever, and then everyone goes to the beach, right? And it's kind of cool because like if you watch Jersey Shore, like you'll remember certain things in Jersey Shore, like Jenks and those kind of things. So I was like, oh my God, it's like 2 freaking reality shows like merging. So everyone gets to the beach. They're kind of just like hanging around at this restaurant. They're like chilling in the sun. And it just made me like so excited for summer. I was like, I can't wait for that feeling of my skin like burning in the sun and like going into the water.
Yeah.
You know? So it's funny because like the girls and guys, they kind of like break off, and then the girls start talking about Louis, and even the guys do too. They're like, where's Louis? Like when is he gonna come? Like all these things. And I'm like, they're like like looking for what at this point do you guys want from Louis? Like I don't understand.
But I don't know if they had thought that he was gonna meet them there and then he didn't show up. Like
yeah, and
we
like
don't know that piece of it.
They're like, oh, there was new information. Like Marge is at the top of this thing. She's like, there's new information about him today. It says that his family doesn't even like him, and like his family is talking shit about him, and that he's like this evil person or something like that. So again, there's like whispers, and Melissa kind of just says, well, you know, she really likes him and he takes care of her and he's charming, and you know, like it is what it is.
She's happy. Yeah.
She's happy. Like whatever. Then it cuts to Joe Benigno, who like probably is going off of what Marge like told him. And he's like, wherever there's smoke, there must be fire. Yeah. So like, it must be true. I'm like, oh my God, I can't handle these guys and their gossip. Like, so then that happens. Teresa does show up. So she arrives. And then it's like Dolores, Teresa, and Jen sitting like in their own area. Yeah. And Dolores is like, me and David broke up. And Teresa's like texting. Like she didn't.
Yeah. She was like, well, maybe like she was trying to connect with Louis at that time. So. And she was like wrapped up in that. But she was like, you did?
like, because what Dolores says is she's like, me and David broke up. And she's kind of like looking at Teresa because Jen already knows. And Teresa's like, oh, you did? She's like, you didn't even text me about it. Like, bitch, she's not gonna text you and be like, I broke up with my boyfriend. So they talk about it, whatever. And then Jen even says, yeah. And then Jen's like, no wonder like you were emotional that day, like you blew up on so and so because like you were feeling some type of way. And then Dolores apologizes to Jen, which I guess Jen was waiting for some sort of apology about everything and the way it all went down. Dolores is like, I'm just telling you, like, don't trust Jackie. Like, she's not like the friend that you think she's gonna be to you. And then Dolores brings up and says, Jackie said that she doesn't care about Bill and he shouldn't have sucked his dick into somebody else. Yeah. And then Jen is like, what? She's like, I can't believe she would say that. Like, that's so disrespectful. That's so disgusting. Like, why would she even bring that up? So what did you think about all this?
I don't know. Like, but Jackie knew about the whole affair thing previously, right? And she just hadn't brought it up. Yeah. I don't know. I think when she said it, she was just coming from like a protective place of Jen at that moment. like, yeah, I'd be freaking pissed if like I had the opportunity to now comment on the fact that someone had cheated on a girl, whatever. I guess they're trying to be friends, whatever. He deserves, sorry, those comments to be made.
100%. Yeah.
She wasn't saying it about Jen. Like, I'm sorry, yeah, your husband did this bad thing, and now I'm finally allowed to like say something about it because somebody else brought it up.
Yeah.
No, I'm worried more about you, and I feel bad for you. And somebody else had said, "Oh, I feel bad for Jen and Bill," and she's like, "No, I don't feel freaking bad for Bill."
I think you're right. I think Dolores took it way out of context. I think she added so much drama to it because if you even hear that conversation, like someone else was talking about it, like one of the guys was saying it as they were leaving Teresa's, and Jackie just says like, "Well, I don't feel sorry for him," and it's true. Like she doesn't feel sorry for him. She feels sorry for Jen. So it was a very like kind of just a comment like that. I think the way Dolores made it seem like as if Jackie was talking about this whole thing and like she said it. So yeah, definitely it was like Dolores's card to play in that moment. It was a little extra.
It was totally extra. And she was just trying to get back at her for saying that she wasn't being a good friend.
Yeah, exactly. And then Dolores like backs it up by saying like, don't trust her. Like, you don't know like if she's your real friend, like what are her motives and everything like that. Yeah. So that happens.
Jen was like, so she's like, yeah, she was so like disgusting. She's like, that's the most disgusting thing I ever heard. And like, she's like, this girl's trying to be my friend, I guess. Like, why would you say that? But whatever. I think they blow it out of proportion. And I totally understand why Jackie said it.
100%. So Teresa is just texting this whole time. Like she's
like not even part of the conversation.
She does not like, there's an emotional, I don't know what the word is, but like she detaches herself.
I was just going to say detach. Yeah,
like
detachment.
She's weird sometimes. Like she's emotionally not there, or she's very like selfish. Like she just cares about her like own things, which is fine. Like this is a new romance in your life. It's a new guy, like whatever. If she was even texting him, like, I don't know. We don't know that situation. But like your friend's like just saying that she broke up with her man's, like you could look a bit more like interested.
I don't know. I think like her conversations on Ultimate Girls Trip really just like stick with me, and how she said like literally nobody has my back in Jersey? And like, you know, and I just feel like she's like not into it. I don't know if she really even wants to be on the show anymore, to be honest, but she's doing it for the money and all that, because she's not really engaged in anything. You know,
she's engaged in her life with her man and
her
kids.
Own life, but
and
she's
you can
not
see that excitement
getting involved at all in anything else that's going on.
Yeah. I also think when the drama isn't about her, she doesn't know how to function. So even in this situation, yes, the drama technically is about Louis. Like it's going to get to Louis, when it's really not about her. Like, oh, David broke up with me, or this, that, like Bill, like she's kind of there, but she's not really there. Like even when Dolores said to Teresa in that moment, she's like, oh, you know, Marge, she said that her reasoning for it was because of this. So then I listened to her. Teresa's like, what? She's like, really? I'm like, you knew that last episode. She told you that last week when you got to Dolores' townhouse. It was as if like the scene hadn't replayed in Teresa's mind. Like it was so weird. It was like no continuity.
She's like, I think she's like wrapped up in her own stuff and is like not able to like absorb anything else that's going on. No. Yeah.
Anyways, so whatever. So at this point, it's like getting late into the day. Everyone's like hot as hell. They're like, should we get into the water? The girls are like, hell no. Like, I guess like you can't like swim in that water. Like, I didn't understand.
I was like, what are you guys doing? You went to the restaurant and then you're leaving and going to the pool. I'm like, there's a beach over there.
Like it was like a beach day. You guys didn't even go to the beach.
I know. Okay. I was going to see if you're going to mention that, because I was so like, hello.
I was like getting hot for them. I was like, oh, just go in the water. Okay. So then they all like red. Yeah. And then I think Joe's like, let's go to the pool. Everyone's like, yes, like please. So whatever, they all leave. And during this time, like, I guess, Joe is texting Louis and Teresa's texting Louis, and he's like, I can't come right now. Or like, I'm running late, or like, whatever he's saying. He's like, he's not going to, he can't make it to the beach part. And then it cuts back to like, so then the Gorgas get to their house, but then we also cut back to Jen and Teresa at Jen's house. And this is where like shit just gets very weird. So Louis calls Teresa and she's like, kind of like in the bathroom or wherever she was. And he's like, I'm not coming. Or like, he's like, I can't come, or something like that.
He's like, I want to get out of here fast.
Yeah. And she's like, what's going on? And he's like, and she's like, wait, my mic pack's on. So she turns her mic pack off, so we can't hear what he actually said or what he's upset about. It cuts really quick back to Melissa and Joe's house. And Melissa talks about how she got a text from Teresa just then. She's like, you need to stick up for Louis. Like, don't say anything bad about him, like behind his back. She's like, just like back me up when people like talk about Louis. So, whatever. She's like, Teresa's no dummy. even though we're not saying it to her face, she obviously knows that like people are talking shit about Louis behind his back. So all that's happening. But then it cuts back to Jen's shore house. And the producer now pulls, so now she's like downstairs. The producer pulls Teresa over and she's like, Louis is in the parking lot and he's really upset. He feels like everyone is talking about him, but he doesn't know why. So my question to you real quick was, why does he, like, how does he even know people are talking about him in this moment?
So what I think happened was the producers got to him wherever he was and they started asking him questions and like maybe trying to rile him up. Like, oh, like, I feel like they were trying to get to him and he felt like ambushed. Like, I'm not even there yet. Like, you guys are kind of, this is what I think happened.
Yeah.
Because of the way the producer said something, the one that was talking to Teresa was like, she said something like, we were talking to him, you know? So I feel like he was dealing with production somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe they came up to him and he was like, whoa, like, what is this? Like I feel like he got ambushed by production. That's what happened.
Yeah. That's a good guess. Yeah. I didn't really know what to think because she's like, he's in the parking lot. Okay. What's he doing in the parking lot? Like maybe they were like miking him up, getting ready to like come into the house. So that he already had, because a lot of these times, right? Like they show up, they're not mic'd yet. So the producers have to get to them first, mic them up and then send them into the house or whatever.
And I feel like they were riling him up.
Yeah. Being like, they're saying shit about you. Yeah. Cause to me, I was like, how else would he know that they're saying all these things? Like he hasn't even been there yet. Like, and Teresa doesn't know that. So she can't text him to say they're talking shit about you. Like,
and I think Louis said that to her, like, what, like, I want to get out of here. Like, these guys are already like saying shit that like people are talking bad about me, blah, blah, blah. And then I think that's when Teresa went and got the producer that was in their house.
Yeah.
And was like, why are you guys doing this to him? Like, he didn't sign up for this. This is about us. He didn't ask for this. You guys, I think she had told him, like, you guys shouldn't do that when he's on his own, basically.
Yeah.
And they did it anyways. I think that's what happened.
And then, and then the producer's like, what's he doing? Like, and then Teresa's like, she's like, I told him if he ever feels like this, he doesn't need to come. He doesn't need to show up.
Exactly.
She's like, I told him to like go, whatever. Then she starts getting upset and she's like, he's the love of my life. She's like, I need to protect him, like no matter what. Like he didn't sign up for this. So she gets in her car and she starts reversing, or like she's like leaving and she looks in the door and the cameras are still rolling. She's like, why the fuck are the cameras still on? She's like, go fuck yourselves, guys. Like she's very mad at the producers, clearly. Gets in her car and she like drives off, and that's the end of the episode.
I think that she had told the producers, like, you know, these are the kind of guidelines in engaging him.
Yeah.
And maybe they had said something like, don't freaking ambush him when he's by himself or whatever. And I feel like they did. And she got pissed.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And that does explain why she's like violently texting the whole day. Like she is very checked out because she's probably making sure that like he's coming, like he's taken care of, like he feels safe or.
Exactly. Yeah, I think now that afterwards, like when that happened, I went back and watched some of the other scenes, like leading up to it and her kind of being on her phone. And I think she was like trying to make sure the situation was okay for him to come. And they still kind of like went after him. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. But what do you think about him not sort of facing the fire? Like he seems like he's very sensitive in a way where I'm like, okay, like if these things aren't true and you're a changed person or you're not that person, just face it and just come in and be like, hey guys, like let's all have a good time. Like you want to ask me questions, ask me, I'll answer them, and let's put this to rest.
Yeah, if he had done that at the beginning, then we wouldn't be talking about this.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't do that. Maybe it's just not his personality, but like he should have.
Yeah.
And this could have just been, he should have just said it out loud. He should have just got it out in the open. Like, I get you guys saw this, whatever. Like I was going through a situation in my life and whatever. I went to, because like, I don't know what it is. And he should have just confronted it up front.
Because he did explain that to Joe. Because remember, Joe Gorga was saying, he told me what it was. He told me that it was like a camp retreat. So that whole thing of that retreat thing, he did already explain. So at this point, like, what else are we hanging over his head? He's clearly talked about it with Joe. So like, I don't know. I feel like they're over like dramatizing like what's happening. But I do feel like in a way, he should have just
making it worse.
Truth. And like, he could have just been like, I'm good. Like, this is my truth. This is who I am. Like, look, at the end of the day, I get it. You didn't sign up to be on a reality show, but it is what it is. And you welcomed people into your home last week. You had a whole Gorga, did you say a barbecue at your house? So you're welcoming the cameras into your own home. So you're clearly like, you are comfortable with the idea of filming, right? That's kind of just what I wanted from him.
I feel like, again, like the people who are new to it think that they can control the narrative, and it takes them a while to realize like you can't, I don't think. And it's one thing for us to say, yeah, like you should have just say it to those guys and just be upfront with that crew, and maybe he feels okay with that, except for the fact that it's actually going to be on TV and it's going to be, everybody's going to know about it, like the whole world, and he's just like not comfortable with that. I don't know. It's really hard. Like if I always try to like put myself in their shoes, and like it's a big deal to have all your stuff out there for the entire world, but then you shouldn't be with somebody who's in that life.
I was just gonna say
that's a choice that you made.
That would be 100% a deal breaker for me if I dated someone who was on a reality show. I'd be like, sorry, that's just not, because ultimately you're gonna get sucked in. Like look at 100%. Gina and her boyfriend Travis. In the beginning, she was like, no, like he's shy, like he doesn't want to film, and she was very private about it. Yeah. And he was quiet too. Now he's like fully in it, and like he's such a cool guy, and like he's so cute. Yeah. Like so he had to adapt. He had to like dive into it too, because ultimately like you are gonna get sucked into it, whether you want to or not, or you're not gonna be on camera and people are gonna still talk shit about you. So at least be on camera and say your own truth. So that's kind of just what I wished from Louis. And like, to me, in my opinion, I don't feel like he's I'm really, really hoping he's not these things that people are saying he is. I'm really hoping, from what I can see so far, it looks like he's tried to redeem himself. But everyone gets to have a second chance at life. And maybe Teresa's been good for him, and that's what I want to believe. So if he had to speak his truth, then I would have been open to that. But the guy like ran away. He didn't even show up. So I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening, because technically there was supposed to be a barbecue, Teresa's barbecue, right?
Yeah, it's Teresa's barbecue at Jen's house. It's going to be like just barbecue at Jen's house. She's fighting with everybody, and like Teresa did.
Yeah,
like,
Teresa did. A lot. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was very weird. That's when my impression of what happened. I think the producer got to him in a way that Teresa, they had maybe discussed that they didn't want.
Yeah.
And she got pissed that they didn't respect, I guess, what they had asked for.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Because in that last moment, she did sound very angry at the producers. So
yeah, she was pissed.
Yeah.
She was pissed.
Okay, so that's Jersey. I just want to say honorable mention goes to Joe and Melissa Gorga for always getting everyone lit and having the best time. And I want to try that cooler thing out this summer, because that looks amazing.
We have to secretly do that, okay?
Oh my God, that was genius. Like, she put it in the fountain.
Yeah, she put it in it. I don't know how much vodka they emptied into that thing.
They had cases. They were coming with cases.
They're crazy. She's like, here, have some water. We have to do that.
No, we have to do that. And it's so smart, because when it's sitting in the cooler, it's actually being refrigerated.
Yeah.
Because that's a problem with like we have experience, but like that's a problem when you have like these big tanks of like a pre-made cocktail. They're sitting outside or like on ice, which doesn't make it that cold. But like that is genius. Like Melissa Gorga, you know, like,
they know how to get lit.
They know how to get lit. That's for sure. Okay, I think that pretty much like wraps up this week's Ronjay. I am excited to see what happens. I think the Jersey Shore episodes are always like the best ones. Either way, I'm enjoying it. Again, Tracy is MIA, but I honestly, guys, comment, tweet us, Instagram us. Like, we want to hear what you guys have to say about her specifically, because the other chick is not even in it anymore. That other extra
I don't know
girl.
Why maybe she had just come for that one day and she wasn't meant to be in it. I don't know.
Or maybe they wanted to see how she was going to be, and they were like, hey, your waist, like, don't even, or maybe she decided, she's like, I don't want to do this. Like, it's too much pressure, you know? Who knows?
I don't know. Tracy needs a storyline. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, her storyline is that she didn't have an affair with her husband. She actually just fell in love with him. That's her storyline.
No,
I don't know. Let's quickly talk about Miami, because we are loving Miami, and like the season is coming to an end soon. And also, I do want to update you. There is going to be a reunion
for Miami,
because I know last time we were unsure of that. We were like, oh, is it Peacock, like Bravo, like what? But we have pictures. There's like everything. Like they're gonna do it. So that's coming, and I'm excited for that. I don't know what else to say. I'm excited for Alexia's wedding. I guess it would be coming up.
Yeah, they just had the bachelorette.
Oh yeah, at the Versace mansion. Oh my God.
Yes.
That place is like
crazy,
legendary. I mean, otherwise we're loving Miami. Did you watch OC this week?
At
Shannon's
house. Thank you.
Oh my God. That
was so hilarious. Funny. I was dying.
I was dead.
Like, she's like,
Michael Dosey.
Heather's like, I experimented with microdosing, and you just have to just take a little bit of a bite. But the way that they edited it, being like all wonky and stuff, pass me the cookies, give me the cookies. I was dying. I was
And
dying.
Shannon's like so chilled out and like relaxed.
Yeah. They're like doing
Like the
squats and stuff.
cookies.
I was like, good for them.
That
She's
was
like,
amazing.
Heather's my new drug dealer.
Yeah.
I was dying. Like those
Yeah.
girls are funny, man.
That was really funny, but I was like, I guess it
was.
takes them to do drugs to like actually make it entertaining and funny.
Well, and then I felt really bad for that Jen.
Yeah,
The
so
blonde one
that's
who was
so
gonna
that's what I
talk to
want
her
to
husband.
that's what I want to talk to you
Yeah.
about, because like there was a couple of different emotions that I had like going through that scene. I know the last episode we talked about, we felt sorry for her when she was in Mexico and she called the guy and he didn't even say like I love you.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, like what an ass, like wow, whatever. This scene, this episode, when she does get to talk to him, I can see parts of her.
Me too.
That I don't like, and I can see why he doesn't like her either.
I did too.
There's something weird about her. I don't know if it's like an overtly controlling aspect or like a degrading, like I could see her very being degrading towards him. Not in that scene necessarily, but like I can see that dynamic happening in their lives, and that would make sense why he's as resentful as he is.
I felt she was being very self-centered in that moment.
Yeah.
She kept talking about how like she needed validation and he wasn't saying it good enough to her. And like she really needed from him, but she wasn't saying anything positive about what he does and what he contributes and asking him how does he feel. Like she was very like, you're not giving me enough of what I need and in the way that I want it. And she kept pushing it. And I think he's not very comfortable on camera either, that he didn't want to get into it. And that's why he said, like, we're not talking about this anymore. And she's like, why? Like, I even know
because she
why.
was drunk. So she's like
into
poking
it
him
right
too.
now.
I honestly, I left that scene and I was like, I don't like her. Like I can see parts of her that I understand why he's annoyed by her too.
I felt, you're right. Like I felt really, I'm sure it goes both ways. Like I didn't like the way that he reacted to her the previous episode when she was like honestly in pain and like, you know, she really needed him, but maybe she's not really there for him either.
But we don't know, right? Like she could be using all of that pain stuff as a way to like get that attention from him. Of course, I'm not saying her pain isn't real. All I'm saying is that like maybe in their history of like being together, she uses that as like a way to like pull him back in and be like, so feel sorry for me. Like I need your attention. I need your and like maybe he's just like over it at this point. We don't know, right? Like we're just seeing a very glimpse into their relationship. But that was the first moment where I was like, oh shit, like this girl is definitely not the way she seems to be. And this week apparently it came out that she's selling her house. Like her house is on the market.
Oh, really?
They're saying that
like
she has some
current day, like right now.
Yeah, they're saying that she has some legal drama, that apparently she was using some sort of Botox or some sort of drug that was like banned in the US and she bought it from like Korea or something. I don't know the details. If you guys know, comment below. But yeah, there's definitely some drama happening in her side of the woods. And like Joe Benigno says, if there's smoke, there must be fire. So something's off about her, but otherwise everyone else is like pretty okay. Noella's just annoying as like I just don't like Noella.
Yeah, I don't like her either. Like, I don't
nothing about her entertains me.
No, I don't like her either.
I just love how Emily like called her out. Emily's like, can you stop talking about your goddamn divorce? She's like, you're so miserable.
I feel bad for her. Like it's obviously like current and like she does like feel sad, but don't spin every conversation like somebody talking about their own business about you.
Well, she was already like, I know a good divorce lawyer or something, and Emily's like, bro, like she's just having a fight with her husband, like you don't need to like
don't
go
jump
like
to that
10 extra steps, whatever. It was just like extra.
She's like, well,
they're doing okay. I don't know, it's an okay season. I've been kind of seeing more things about like Tamara online and
I have too. She was on what happens live,
and Vicky, and so I don't know if they're like kind of in the works to maybe bring them back for next season. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Well, they're doing Ultimate Girls Trip too, right?
Yeah. So
maybe they're doing promos for that.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's okay. I still like OC, but it's not as like exciting.
Lit.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about Salt Lake City real quick because we are nearing the end of Salt Lake City. I think next week or this week was the finale. I haven't watched the reunion. Sorry. I honestly, I just want to quickly talk about. Oh yeah, we did the last episode where Jenny tries to throw and be dramatic and throws the glass and it doesn't go anywhere.
That's the one that just happened.
Yeah. Honestly, like everything seems like went okay in the episode. I think for me, it's just the whole Jen Shah thing. Like I think we're finally now in that last episode really starting to see what's happening behind the scenes. Now she has to sell it. She's actually selling her house now. She had to find like movers to pack her shit. Like, how much is that going to cost? She doesn't have the money for that. She's like, we're downsizing. So now we're really starting to see the repercussions of like this whole indictment. And like the cameras, they filmed right away. So after they wrapped, they kept filming. So they never had a break because they want to get that on the camera, right? Like all her drama.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see the start of next season. It's kind of just going to flow seamlessly, hopefully. And we get to see more of that because that's like obviously the biggest part of Salt Lake City.
Well,
right
her trial is going to start in real life next month.
It said March 5th, I think. Yeah.
So very soon.
And I don't know if you saw, but like basically all the other people that were indicted, like they already said that they were guilty. So it's not looking good.
Look good at all.
It's not looking good for her. No. And I don't know what she's going to say. I don't know how she's going to go about this court case. And it looks like Andy does ask some like good questions in the reunion. So I am excited to see that. Interested to see how she answers it. I don't think she's going to answer it because she's in an active case.
Not going to be allowed to. Yeah.
Just like Erica Jane, she couldn't really answer like anything legal either. I don't know. It's going to be really good.
Yeah. This one's I don't know how she can get out of it.
Yeah. She could go to jail for a long ass time.
Yeah.
And I think what she did was 100 times worse than what Teresa ever did. And Teresa went to jail for a year.
Teresa they defrauded like their own stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. And
like,
Teresa,
I don't think they
Teresa, because she's an idiot. She put
lots of people.
Teresa didn't even know.
Teresa didn't know. Of course she didn't.
She put her name on that. She probably signed the document or he's forged it for her. She's an idiot. She's like, sure, Joe, I'll sign it. And she signed it. Of course.
I
Jen Shah, like she knowingly did this. So like,
oh yeah,
I honestly think she should be serving 100% prison time.
Let's see what happens.
These housewives, they're pretty cray.
I know. And like, I just really, I am amazed at their balls.
Yeah.
For doing these types of things and then
exposing themselves.
Yeah. Like I think you have a sociopathic mentality. If you're so sure about what you're doing and you're not going to get caught, that you are willing to be on reality TV. I don't understand that.
You're 100% right. Someone posted this week or last week, they were like, after watching Jen, they were like, either she is the best liar.
Because I'm starting to believe her. I swear to God. Or she's batshit delusional sociopath. Like she legit believes that she did nothing wrong. And that is terrifying. Like that is really scary. She has convinced me at this point after watching the last few episodes. Because when she first got arrested, I was like, oh my God. Last few episodes, I feel bad for her.
Yeah.
But I don't like if this many people that have also been indicted, they have this much evidence on you that they came after you with the force that they did.
Yeah.
With like NYPD, like all these people, Homeland Security, like that's not a joke. Like they obviously had something on you that they came at you like that. And then everybody else that was named on it too has pled guilty. Like it's probably true. And also, if that's true, like, and you're acting like this, like, I don't get it.
Also, like, what is her defense right now? Like, is she saying that she had no involvement in this? Or is she saying that she was involved, but like, she didn't know the details of the thing? Like, that's the other part. Like, she's not really saying her stance on it. Whereas like Erica Jane always said, like, I had no idea. He took care of the money. I had no idea. Same with Teresa. She's like, I had no idea. I signed my name on these documents and like, I didn't know. Whereas Jen's not really saying it. And that's where I'm getting lost too. I'm like, how much did you know? How much are you saying you knew? Like, how stupid can you be? Or how stupid can you think we are that we're going to think that you had no idea that this was happening? Like,
but from what I understand, it's her business.
Of course. It's her business. It's not like
it's her husband's business and his employees. Like, it's your business. At the end of the day, like, it's your employees.
Yeah.
You have some sense of what's going on, obviously. Like, she's going down for sure.
She's going down for sure. And also, like, even in the promos for the reunion, Andy does ask Coach, he's like, did you ever question where the money came from? And that's a great question, because it's like, maybe he doesn't know what she actually does or like what the job is, but like, she's making all this money. It's like, aren't you going to question where, like, how do you make this much money? Even the girls were saying that. They were like, yo, this girl's on private jets. And like, how do you make that much money?
He's the Erica Jane and Teresa in the situation.
That's true.
Like the spouse kept in the dark, and unless like if he was, but I don't know.
I don't know.
He's a smart guy too. He obviously,
yeah, he's not an idiot.
Is successful in his own right. So,
but to your point, she's a great liar because she's emotional, because she gets vulnerable. She lets you in, and you want to be on her team so bad because like she's like, I protect my family. I set everyone up financially. So you're like, you want to be on her team.
Yeah.
You want to believe her, and I can't even imagine like if you actually did believe her all these years. Oh my God.
Maybe last thing I'm gonna say, like maybe she just feels that like because she does take care of so many of her family, that she is doing like something for the greater good, and that maybe she's negatively impacting a lot of people like a little bit. Like I don't know how much she's taking from each individual person. Like maybe from a personal, like an individual level, it's not that much. And she's like helping her whole family so much that she thinks like, I'm doing what I got to do to like run my whole family.
That's delusional too. That's definitely delusional too. Which she definitely is. She definitely is a little bit. Yeah.
If she's this guilty and she's been acting like this on the show, like she deserves an Oscar, truly.
Yeah.
Like she's doing a great job in her acting then. Or she just, you're right. She's like so delusional. She believes it herself.
Yeah. Whereas I think Erika Jayne is not delusional. Erika Jayne knew exactly what the fuck was happening, and she knew what she was up against. She just put on a really good front until towards the end when it all fell apart. She kept crying and stuff. Remember because she couldn't hold it. She couldn't keep it up anymore. Whereas Jen is like full out delusional. Like I didn't do this. I'm innocent. Interesting.
We shall see.
We shall see. We shall definitely see, girl. Well, thank you for joining me again. This was so much fun.
It's always fun.
You guys let us know how you're liking the podcast, what you guys want us to change or what you guys want more of. This is sort of like a jumble of all the Housewives episodes, but
there's just so much going on.
There's so much going on, and like everything's one's in a reunion, one's like finishing, one's not finished yet. So it's going to be the next couple of weeks are going to be crazy with like all of these different like elements of the Housewives and the Bravo.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
And that is it, guys, for the podcast this week covering off Ronjay. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys loved my best friend / co-host. So let us know. Follow us on Instagram at the Hollywood Heroine with the E at the end. Comment, DM us. Let us know what you thought about the podcast. And if you can, guys, if you're listening, we're on iTunes, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. Drop us a review on iTunes. Let us know how we're doing, if you like us, and if you guys want more of this. So thank you so much. Bye.